Hello again, everyone. Can I ask you to please take your seats? I hope everyone enjoyed the meal as much as I did, and thank you again to the Seaport Hotel and World Trade Center for their hospitality. So in this final year of CALC here in Boston, and as we celebrate the sesquicentennial, I have the privilege of introducing to you my friend, my role model, President David J. Skorton. As he and Robin head off to Washington, D.C. to show the rest of the country what Big Red leadership looks like, I want to share a timely statement he made to close his first Cornell commencement, my commencement, in 2007. Congratulations, and may the achievements we celebrate today be a prelude to even greater things to come. President Skorton, on behalf of the 10,000 plus alumni in the greater Boston area and the thousands of alumni volunteers around the world, congratulations to you and Robin. We are grateful to you and to Robin for all that you have achieved on behalf of Cornell, and we know there is greatness yet to come. It is my hope you will let us know when you are back in Boston, as you will be a Cornellian forever. In that very same commencement address, back in 2007, President Skorton described universities as beacons of hope and opportunity for the world. As we prepare to say goodbye to President Skorton, I want to thank him one more time for all he has done to ensure Cornell's position as a beacon of hope and opportunity for the world is stronger than ever. Fellow Cornell enthusiasts, please join me in giving a warm Boston welcome for the last time at CALC to Cornell's 12th president, David Skorton.
Thank you so much. So Robin can't be here. She's working. I mean, one of us has to work. It's not going to be me, that's for sure. And she said, don't cry when you get up there. And you guys are already making that hard to do. Yeah, it's very emotional for both of us. This is 37 years in higher education. I can't think, I mean this quite sincerely, I can't think of a better way to do my last CALC as sitting president. I may come back for other things, but especially since I found there's no dues for the club here. But I can't think of a better thing than to be here. As I was telling some of you before, and I'm sorry you have to hear this twice, I came to do a sabbatical when I was at the University of Iowa here in Boston at the Navy Yard, Charlestown. And I brought my bike. I didn't know anything about Boston except, you know, what I'd heard and read. I brought my bicycle, and I thought, it's not that big a town. I can ride my bike. It's not that big a deal. Go across the bridge, go to Charlestown. I got in a rotary, see? And I saw my whole life go before me. When you're a junior faculty, that's not that much, really. But and a guy leaned out his car window and said to me, "Get a car! Get a car!" So that night I went home, packed up the bike, and started taking the T. And ever since then, since I lived through that first rotary, it had a special place in my heart to be back in Boston. So before I go on with this long and very dry speech, I measure my speeches by the number of 4x6 cards. This is a 21-card speech, so settle in, campers. But I do want you to join me in thanking Shane Dunn for what he does. Shane is unbelievable, really unbelievable. Thank you. Well, I got to tell you, the number of universities anywhere in the country, there's 4,000 or so colleges and universities in the U.S. that can put something like this together, besides Cornell, are zero. Now, that's a strong statement, but I've been around the business a long time, really going on 40 years. I've been at multiple different institutions. They're all great institutions. They all have fabulous, amazing alumni, linkages of heart and mind, but there is nothing like Cornell alumni and the sort of things that you guys lead, and that behind you, the 250,000 strong do. Cornell alumni, let's hear it for you guys. So Robin wanted me to speak a little bit on her behalf as well. And if you run into her at any time, tell her I spent the first 20 or 25 minutes talking about all her many wonderful attributes. But since she's not here, we're going to skip over all that garbage. And but I will say that we look back with very strong fondness and very emotional memories on our first exposure to Cornell alumni was before we were on the payroll in '06. We went to our first reunion weekend. And we didn't really know how to dress or anything, and Robin put heels on, high heels. And it was wet. It was very wet. And she immediately sank in the mud right up to the top of the heel. And we thought, wow, why are we here? We're not even on the payroll yet. And we just completely fell head over heels for the way alumni affairs get put together at Cornell. It was amazing. We talk about that all the time. And we've been inspired, both of us, by so many things about alumni. And I've been very inspired by meeting those who have received the Frank H.T. Rhodes Awards. And I know there must be some recipients here. So if you have received a Frank H.T. Rhodes Award, will you stand up and be recognized? Stand up, please. Oh, yeah. The best of the best. Best of the best. Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to salute you again and again and again. But at the other end of the Cornell life cycle, so to speak, are the current Cornell students. One of the amazing things about universities is that they are renewed every single year. When 3,000 plus new undergraduates come into Cornell and graduate and professional students, and that's what makes it fresh and exciting every single year, different. It's a different university every year. And so all the students who are here, please stand up and let us recognize you. You're the future at Cornell. You're the future of the country. You're the future of the world. Congratulations on all you're doing. Those of you who are seniors, this is my last higher ed commencement as a president, and I've done a lot of them. I've done over 3 dozen of them, and I decided to make this last one real long, and we have, as I was telling some of the Glee Club members, my wife and I plant little mini cams throughout the audience in Sholkoff, and if you fall asleep during my last speech of my higher ed career, the seniors will be reduced back to sophomores, broken down to sophomores. And so I'd start the caffeine going right now if I were you. Now, we are launching a new CU volunteer website, many of you know about, to easily identify volunteer opportunities. There was a soft launch just about 6 months ago, and I understand from Jim Mazza and others that over 1,100 volunteers have already registered on CU Volunteer. Amazing. And I want to hear it. Please join me in congratulating the Alumni Affairs Development and University Communications staff for putting that together. It's amazing. And I hope and trust that this system is going to revolutionize the way alumni volunteer to support Cornell in its activities in a modern technological age. And since we just announced here at CALC the new slate of candidates for alumni trustee, I hope all of you will not only cast your own vote, I hope you will definitely cast your own vote, but also encourage other people to do it. We can always do better with the number of folks who actually vote in these elections. It's very, very important. And remember, the alumni elected trustees are in the supreme governance position for the university. So not only is it a very prestigious appointment, prestigious election, but it's really the continuity of the university. And at a time of changing of the guard, it's very important that we have best possible people in those roles. And so get out and vote early and often, as they say, get out and do that. Now, in March, we're going to have a brand new event, and many of you may have heard about that earlier today, this morning, the first Cornell Giving Day. This is a fun 24-hour fundraiser that will use social media and whatever that is, and competitions, and round-the-clock staffing to make a big impact in that short, circumscribed period of time. And with your advocacy and leadership and with your own generosity, personal generosity, Giving Day is going to become, I predict, an exciting new Cornell tradition. And I'm counting on all of you, and I'm very confident that we'll make it a success. The biggest Cornell event of this year and one that comes around very infrequently is our Charter Day weekend. Charter Day is April 27. It's the 150th anniversary of the chartering of Cornell University by New York State. And there's a fabulous academic festival that weekend if you can possibly get there. There's a lot of things to choose from, concerts and films and literary readings and speeches by people like me. Wow, that'll make you want to come. And of course, we're going to be celebrating not only the history of Cornell and not only going through the formalisms of recognizing 150 years of excellence and innovation, but we're going to be looking at the Cornell of the future. Now, a few highlights to remind you of how proud we all have a right to be about the Cornell of today, of 2015. Again, the #1 undergraduate architecture program. Again, the #1 veterinary college in the nation. The Dyson School in CALC, the undergraduate business program, is now rated #3, better than Wharton. And so I got a hold of my colleague who's the president of Penn, and I talked it over with her, and it's amazing, right? It's amazing. Yeah, let's hear it. And 16 other programs, top 10 in the graduate fields of engineering, computer science, and other science fields. Another Rhodes Scholar, the current chair of the Board of Trustees, Bob Harrison, was a Rhodes Scholar back in the day, as they say. And another new Rhodes Scholar, ILRE, Rachel Harmon. Rachel not here, I don't think, today. Well, let's give her a round of applause anyway. Amazing. And 2 alumni, Eric Betzig and William Murner, among the trio awarded last year's Nobel Prize in Chemistry. So in the last year, we had an alum recognized again for Nobel Prize in Chemistry. It's really amazing. So the accomplishments of the students and the faculty and the staff of Cornell University are breathtakingly positive. And also I want to thank and mention breathtakingly positive gifts and visions that were granted us. There's so many that I can't even begin to talk about them, and you hate to single a few out, but I'm going to take a chance anyway. Gail Drucker and Ira Drucker, Ira's a class of 66 and an M.Eng in 67, established the Drucker Institute for Children's Health at Weill Cornell Medical College. This is doubly important to me, first of all, because of the generosity and vision, and secondly, that's my medical field. Brad Stone, class of 77, named the deanship for the School of Hotel Administration. Have you heard about the hotel school, you guys? Yeah, you have. And now we have a named deanship, which is fantastic. This last fall, we had the opening of a striking, state-of-the-art new facility for computing and information science that I hope you had a chance or will have a chance to see, Bill and Melinda Gates Hall. At the time that Bill and Melinda Gates gave the funding for that building, several years ago, that was the biggest gift that was given by the Gates for an academic building anywhere in the United States. And Bill Gates not only didn't just come in for a handshake and a round of applause as we dedicated the building, he stayed with us all day long, spent time with the CALC, students, faculty, and staff. If you don't know it, Cornell is one of the largest recipients of Gates Foundation funding overall in the United States because of computer science, engineering, this building, and so much agriculture and nutrition work around the world. It was really an amazing day for all of us. Every year I wonder, and you've read the same headlines as I have about the very expensive nature of college, and Cornell's very expensive if you are paying the full freight. I keep wondering, is this the year where we're going to see some tapering off in the applicant pool? And again, this last year, there were record numbers of applicants for the freshman class. Every year for the last several years, every year since the recession started. And as the present blends into the future, I want to talk to you a little tiny bit about the presidential transition. Now, Shane and all of you have been very, very kind to me from day one, from day -10, when Robin's heels sank right into the mud. You've been unbelievably good to me. I want to ask you a favor on behalf of me and Robin, and that is give Beth Garrett and her husband, Andre Marmor, the same kind of support and love and warmth and straight from the shoulder advice and constructive criticism you've given us, and she's going to be the best president Cornell ever had. You're going to love her. She's a dynamic, terrific individual. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. And for the second time in Cornell's history, the first time being my wonderful wife, the spouse is going to be a full-time tenured faculty member. Andre is a very, very impressive faculty scholar in his own right in philosophy and law, and you're really going to like this couple. Now, Elizabeth Garrett, was the provost of University of Southern California. Now, look, I went to UCLA when I was a kid. I grew up in LA, and I said that. I said University of Southern California without getting upset. I think I'm getting very mature, very mature, very mature. It's unbelievable. I tell my wife how well I did. Beth's background is in law and public policy, and she clerked for none less than Justice Thurgood Marshall in the U.S. Supreme Court. You'll find her astute and energetic and fantastic. She is going to be a great president for Cornell University. With her leadership, Cornell, of course, is going to continue to make great strides and hire the best teachers and attract and support and graduate the best students and provide those students with a really world-class education. Now, one aspect of the Cornell education that's been different and groundbreaking from day one, 150 years ago, has been this public engagement aspect. Now, there's many other land-grant universities in the United States, but there's no other one that combines that very high level of excellence that the Ivy League has with this formal public mandate, and not just the formal mandate, but the heart and soul of an entity that wants to go out and, as Frank Rhodes has said, be the land-grant university to the world. And so David and Cheryl Einhorn, a great class of 91, let's hear it, 91, all right, it's good. That was the year, 91 was the year that I was here, and a guy said, get a car. That was 91. Anyway, they've given an enormous, very generous, visionary gift to establish something called Engaged Cornell. Now, Cornell's been engaged since day one, but this is going to kick even our game up to a higher level by having collaborations with community stakeholders, even more training of our excellent faculty in this regard, and it's going to be amazing. Keep watching for news of how Engaged Cornell is going to roll out. Now, I've talked a lot about the people of Cornell, the faculty and the staff and the students. I talked a little tiny bit about facilities with Gates Hall. Cornell is a powerhouse in science and technology. You all know that. But we all know, and especially those of us who are scientists know, that we cannot solve the world's problems by science alone. We know that. And the humanities and the arts and the social sciences are very, very important, critical. And the last time Cornell University built a building totally dedicated to the humanities was in 1905. Until now. So right now on East Avenue is going up Klarman Hall, the first humanities project just for the humanities since 1905. And it's being supported by Seth Klarman, class of 79, and Beth Klarman, Bostonians. And it'll be Cornell's new addition to the Arts Quad and to the entire area of humanities and the breadth that entails throughout the university. And among its many features, besides this beautiful addition, it's an addition to Goldwin Smith, and it's not going to be on the Arts Quad side. It's not going to change the beautiful aspect of the Arts Quad. It's on the East Avenue side, where you can sure change the beautiful aspect of looking at Day Hall, so it's going to be much, much better. And among its features are going to be the largest auditorium in the College of Arts and Sciences. Another thing that I'm very, very gratified to and very grateful to those of you and others who have helped us with your generosity to do this is we're going to have a new university health service facility. There's very few projects, capital projects that we do at any university that touch everybody in the student body, and this is one. And so we're going to have a new university health center, what we call Gannett right now, that will give the students and staff and faculty who use that facility what they deserve, and that is a facility to match the excellence of the staff inside. Now, in New York City, beyond Ithaca, of course, a lot of things going on. You know about our longstanding programs there in ILR and financial engineering and architecture, art and planning, and cooperative extension, and the good work of the College of Human Ecology and CALC. and of course, as I said, ILR. So a lot of great things happening in that regard as a continuation of former greatness. And in that same category, Weill Cornell Medical College has initiated a brand new medical curriculum. I'll tell you, since that's my field, it's visionary, it's fabulous, it's something to be proud of. And in the superb new Belfer Medical Research Building, Weill Cornell researchers are going to accelerate the day in which we'll have what we call personalized medicine, where your diagnostic and therapeutic interventions are going to be based on who you are genetically, not some sort of general conception of a human being. All of us are different in every way. But of course, one of the most exciting things, I don't know if you've heard about this, but we beat everybody in a contest to establish a new campus in New York City called Cornell Tech. What do you think about that? Yeah. And because grass never grows under the feet of Cornellians, we are not going to have the buildings on Roosevelt Island waxing the floors, as I put it, till 2017. But the team that put this together, our wonderful former provost, Ken Fox, who is now, by the way, the president of the University of Florida in Gainesville, and what a wonderful guy, except the day that he wrote me a note just before he left and said, "Dave, clear something up for me. What is winter? What does that mean, winter?" And I wrote him back and I said, it means those days where the humidity drops below 98%. That's how you'll know it's winter. But he got the last laugh on that one. If you don't believe me, just take a walk out tonight. You'll see what I'm talking about. But anyway, right away, Kent and Dan Huttenlocker and Kathy Dove, who also has moved on to become the president of John Smith's College in the Adirondacks, and Lance Collins, our wonderful dean of the College of Engineering. That team that put things together didn't stop when we won the nod. They talked to our colleagues at Google, which has a big presence in New York City. Those of you who know New York City, the old Port Authority building on 8th Avenue and 15th Street, and they're giving us for 5 years rent-free space in the building that they own. And we already have over 100 students at that campus, and we have over a dozen faculty. We're teaching 3 master's programs, an MBA through the Johnson School, a new kind of MBA, a Master's of Engineering in Computer Science, and a Cornell dual degree with the Technion, Israel Institute of Technology, in so-called connective media, social media. And we have PhD students, and we have postdocs. So it's an amazing place, and our partner in that Jacobs Institute is the Technion. And if you haven't bumped into that institution, Israel, a country with fewer than 10 million people, has more companies on the NASDAQ than the whole European Union combined, and 70% of those companies have a linkage to the Technion. So it's an amazing entrepreneurship engine, and they are our partners in the Jacobs Institute. So later this month, we're going to have a groundbreaking. That's going to be a party, a January groundbreaking on Roosevelt Island, with nothing to block the wind coming off the East River. But I'm going to bring one of my Ithaca overcoats, and I'll wear a red bow tie. By the way, you like my bow tie? Okay. I want to give credit where credit is due for the bow tie phenomenon, and that is class of 68, JD 71, I hope I got those dates right, Jay Wax. Stand up, Jay. For years, did I get the dates right? 68 and 71. For years, the Italian word is he's been nudging me to start tying a bow tie. He sent me DVDs. He sent me bow ties from a place called Bow Ties, B-E-A-U, of Vermont, and all this kind of stuff. Finally, my wife said, can we do one of 2 things? Either change our address and phone number and email so this guy will get off your back, or learn to tie a bow tie. And so thanks to Jay and my kid who sent me a YouTube of a guy tying a bow tie, I can now do it. And knowing that I'd be just 2 seats away from Jay Wax, said to my wife, what should I do? She said, wear that bright red one. That'll get him off your back for sure. So eventually Cornell Tech's going to host 2,000 students, and when we have 2,000 graduate students in those disciplines, we're going to increase the graduate student population of New York City in these disciplines by over 60%. So it's really an amazing, amazing thing. Now, before I end, and we have a couple of minutes of Q&A, I just want to talk a tiny bit about the present freshman class, the class of 18. They're unbelievable. It's the most diverse and the most selective class in the history of Cornell University. Think about that. The most diverse and the most selective. 10% are international students. 13+% are the first generation in their families to attend college. And 22% identify themselves as underrepresented minorities. And as we do every year, our wonderful Vice President for Student and Academic Services, Susan Murphy. Is Susan still here? Is she still here? No. Well, that's too bad. Let's give her a round of applause because she's retiring in June. She's unbelievable. And we go around and meet the new students and hang out with them a little bit. And they're a group that you got to be very, very proud of. So I want to close with just two sentiments to share with you. One is that on Robin and my behalf of gratitude, enormous gratitude for all that you've taught us, for all that you've shared with us, for all that you have given us, and for all that you have allowed us to share with you. And the second sentiment is, if you're ever in the mood to write an email to someone and tell them how things are going to Cornell, I'm going to make sure that my Cornell email stays alive and gets either directly to me or forwarded through the Smithsonian. And all the years I've been here, I've given all of you my email address, my private address. I put it in every Cornell Alumni magazine column, every column in the Daily Sun. And I want you, please, not to lose touch with me and Robin. We want to keep in touch with you. Robin, for another year, will be coming back to Ithaca, New York to continue with her lab efforts. But we'll be coming back otherwise, and please keep in touch with us because you all mean the world to us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I went too long. The AA&D staff are giving me the usual dirty looks, but I mean, what are they going to do? Fire me? So here's what I would say. Let's just have two questions in the Q&A. Then if you have more questions later, I'll be around a little bit right now. And then, are any of you going to the sesquicentennial deal tonight? Yeah. I heard it's sold out, actually. It's amazing. So a couple questions or comments if you'd like. Okay, one over here. There should be a microphone close to you. Tell me who you are.
I'm Andy Sosa, class of 83.
83, a youngster. It's good.
Yes, and I'm also a resident of the D.C. suburbs, so we're looking forward to having you and Robin in the neighborhood.
Thank you so much.
Over the last couple of years, I've been asking you about your ongoing efforts to align the diversity of the faculty and staff to the demographics of the student bodies. How are we doing on that?
Not good enough. The student body diversity, thanks a lot for your, and by the way, if you had any role in it, thanks for giving us complimentary membership in the Cornell Club of Washington, which for me, Shane, makes it more or less like the Boston deal. It's sort of dues free. It's cool. Anyway, So the diversity among the student body is getting better and better and better, as I told you, especially the undergraduate student body. Faculty and staff, we still have a long way to go. There are some definite positive things going on, but we have a lot more work to do. And if any institution should reflect the society that it serves, it really ought to be Cornell. And so we're going to try really, really hard to do better as it goes forward. And so we made some progress, and it's a very important question, and just not enough. One more quick question, if there is one. Okay, please.
Jay Treadwell, class of 61.
Okay.
Is Chuck Feeney still involved with the development of the tech center, or is he no longer contributing other than, financial, which is huge?
Great question. Our friend Chuck Feeney really made this wonderful thing possible by this breathtaking, what can you say, $350 million gift. My son got a hold of me when that got in the newspapers, and he said, he's a Stanford grad, you should excuse the expression, and my son said, Dad, how much was that gift? And I said, $350 million. He said, 350, like a third of $1 billion. I said, yeah. And he said, how did that guy make money to give you that much money? And I said, well, he invented duty-free shopping, for one thing. And my son said, well, Dad, do you have any ideas like that? You know, like duty-free shopping, you know? So I actually don't. I really don't. But anyway, he is so involved, it's unbelievable. He's curious. He's engaged. He wants updates and reports. He's spending more time. He always lived in multiple cities, San Francisco, New York, London, and elsewhere. He's more in San Francisco these days. I don't see him, face to face as much, but he's still very, very engaged and has a lot of good ideas to share with us, like any good Cornell alum. Thanks a million, all of you.
Thank you, President Skorton, for your inspiring words, for your 9 years of dedicated service to the university, and for all you've done for every single person in this room. One more round of applause, please. And I need to learn to tie a bow tie, so Jay, I'll be over a little bit later. So it is now my pleasure to introduce to you the Cornell University Glee Club. Under the direction of Robert Isaacs, the Priscilla Browning Director of Choral Programs, Boston is the final stop on their Northeast tour. Like any good Cornell group, they have been incredibly busy. The tour began on January 5th, and the group has already performed in Albany, West Point, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Morristown, New Jersey, Garden City, New York City, and Salisbury, Connecticut. Ladies and gentlemen, please sit back and enjoy the Cornell University Glee Club.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor for us to, on the last day of our winter tour, to perform for the largest set of Cornell alums we've seen yet on this tour, although we see them everywhere. And we thought we might give you just a mini concert to finish off your lunch today. Like all other members of the Cornell community, our guys in the Glee Club have been thinking a lot about a big anniversary this year. And of course, I'm talking about the 600th anniversary of the Battle of Agincourt, in which the future King Henry V, as you know, won a decisive victory against the French and then married the French king's daughter. So we thought we'd mark the occasion, as we all have been, with a little victory song, the Agincourt song, which actually dates from 1415. As you heard, we've been on this wonderful tour. We've had the opportunity to sing in some amazing places. Top among them might be the Terrace Theater at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. And I want to just give a special note on this. I had nothing to do with organizing this program, nor did any Cornell faculty. It was all organized by the students themselves behind me, taking big risks, making big plans, thinking big, and making an enormous event happen, and selling out the Kennedy Center and giving an absolutely dynamite concert there. On the next, or I guess a day and a half later, we got to sing at the Supreme Court in a private concert for Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who brought along Sonia Sotomayor and a few members of their staff. An extraordinary experience for them and for me. So we thought we'd sing one piece that we had performed on those occasions. This is a beautiful piece from the English Renaissance, Regina Caeli, you'll hear the baritone singing one simple piece of chant very slowly, while the rest of the group weaves intricate harmony around them as composed by Robert White. Regina Caeli. Thank you so much. Cornell students think about time all the time, not just in an anniversary year. There's very little time to be had in the busy lives that they have and that I'm sure you have. But there's always time for a drink. This next piece, for those of age, of course. This next piece is about making that time, and it will be shorter than this introduction was. We thought about time in every sense this year. That's the theme of our tour musically. And one of them is the notion of time as a teacher, something that teaches us things beyond what we learned in college and the regrets we might have about choices we made in our youth. And with this next piece is a beautiful Irish folk song arranged by my old friend Noam Elkies. And it's the Sally Garden, which talks about time having taught you some things about the romantic choices of your youth. Our soloist for this afternoon is Philip Fargo.
Down by the Sally Gardens, my love and I did meet. She passed by the Sally Gardens with little snow white feet. She bid me take love easy as the leaves grow on the tree. But I, being young and foolish, with her would not agree. In a field by the river, my love and I sat on Sally, and in shore she laid her snow-white
We've had, as you all know, for almost 50 years in the Glee Club, a wonderfully self-directed group, and I'd love to invite them to come out and sing a number for you now. This is the Cornell Hangovers.
Yes, Eddie.
I just got my first bio prelim back and I gotta see. What do I do?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Eddie,
High school hits in the past. Life at Cornell is you don't straight A's in high school. You went to every class. You were what they call a Brown Jones. You were watching Kiss the Ass. But since you arrived at Cornell, all you do is go out and play. And while you were getting fun,
sucky, you don't. You got to see. You got to see. You thought you done better than you saw the letter. You got to see. All of the nerds, they work all day, locked in their rooms, they slave away. While you were snoozing, planted and boozing, you got to see. You could have been working harder, but there's so much else to do. Like when you got smashed at Ki-Fi, and you did some cake stands too. Going streaking till the sunrise, you passed out at 5 a.m. And when you woke up, you realized you're in the middle of the art squad and you have no idea how you got there and it's freezing cold outside and you're not wearing anything except a lady's G-string filled with dollar bills and there's a note attached from some dude named Big Randy that says, "Thanks for the hot night, Nancy." You got to see. You got to see. I'm willing to wager that you'll change your major. Take it from me. You came with ambition, brains, and style, but now you've been smoking for a while. You've forgotten your name now, so transfer to AIM now. You got to see. You got to see. You got to see. You got to see. Your grades may be rocky, just learn to play hockey, and he's only free. You got to see. So your dad's a rocket scientist. Oh man, is he gonna be pissed? You make him unhappy cause you did crappy. You got to see. Harvard and Brown, they both turned you down. The grades are so great because they inflate. We may have been spanked in all of the ranks, but we kick their ass in acapella. Cornell is not easy, it makes you so easy to earn the good grade instead of get laid. But if you don't do it and just say, oh screw it, then your GPA will blow. Yeah, you got to see. You got to see. You got to see. Don't be forlorn. You can't get torn. You have to study. You got to see. So pre-med's harder than you thought. Become a hotelie, then you got a ticket to riches, fake fortunes and bridges. You got to see. Start learning and thinking instead of just drinking. You got to see. Start giving a damn about your next exam. So working at freaking Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, we excel at Gus for Cornell. You got to see. Before we get into a little bit of Cornell nostalgia, we'll sing just one more serious piece. This is a piece which has been associated with the Cornell Glee Club for many years, but became the most well-known and beloved piece for men's choral repertoire in this country and beyond. It's the Franz Biebel Ave Maria.
Concepite Spiritus
Like everyone at Cornell, we're sad to see President Skorton move on and are so grateful for his leadership and I will say his friendship. You may not know this, but virtually every time we perform on any occasion when he'll be there, he stops by to say a word or two and have a joke with the guys, and we really appreciate that. And he's been such a terrific friend to, well, every enterprise at Cornell, but particularly the arts and music as well. And on a personal note, I would say I don't think I've ever worked in my entire life for an administrator who's as funny. That's a great, great asset to have when you're dealing with weighty issues all the time, to remember your humor. So, President Skorton, we have a little musical nod to you. We'd love to have you come down and join us if you could. We came prepared.
You don't have to worry, but you don't have your degrees yet, so be careful. I want the lyrics to You Gotta See. Somebody sent it to me. David Skorton.
Give my regards to David, remember me to T-Rex too. Tell all the senators on the hill that David's not so new. Tell them how much we trusted his leadership for 9 great years. Pass me a glass and let's all drink to David's new career. Give my regards to David, remember me to T-Rex too. Tell all the senators on the hill that David's not so new. David's not so new, and tell them how much we trusted his leadership for 9 great years. Pass me a glass and let's all drink to David's new career.
This is simply my favorite part of every tour, is when the alums come up and sing with us. And I would suspect that a few of you know the words too. Please feel free to sing along.
When the sun fades